And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening in some of you places, like in the Manila, Philippines, where it's midnight. Good evening to each and every one of you. I now call today's show to order. Thank you for joining us on this very smoky, muggy, humid kind of world right now we got going on. July 17th. Thank you for making us part of your day. I'm Aaron Phillips, the voice of Kiwanis Connects, alongside really the more important voice. She is international trustee elect to be head honcho numero uno, the head cheese, Doc Val. How are you, my friend?
Aloha. I love all those titles, but no.
No, your business card would be about this big. You'd be carrying you're like carrying a billboard. How you feeling, Doc?
I am so much better. A number of us came back from Manila with some major respiratory issues, and I feel so badly for those folks that are now having all the smoke that you're dealing with on top of it. So I just send out warm hugs and just please, please, please stay safe. Yeah, I only get my news from like Today NBC, and they're talking about even the masks when you double up are not enough when you're outside. So your health is so important. And so we've got Judy out there saying hello to us, and Dr. Bob out in Michigan is saying that it's like walking through fog, but it's smoke. So
yeah, he listen. I mean, Michigan, he's right in line from what I'm seeing in the news, where the smoke and fire is like he's right there. He's down Broadway there. I mean, here today is the worst day here in Virginia Beach, New York City, where my daughter works. They were blanketed yesterday, and like you were just talking about, they had a AQI, air quality index, last night over 200. And being educated about this yesterday on the local news, anything over 150 is like you should really hunker down in your house and not really need to go out. But yeah, they were over 200 here. As bad as the air quality is, and they're saying today is going to be the worst of the next couple of days. The number I saw this morning was like 75. I was already out this morning. I got trees being cut down in my backyard, so the guys are out there working their tail off before things get bad. But you are 1,000,000% correct. To everybody out there, please be healthy, be smart. Only go out if you have to. Don't be like Bob Larson. Don't be a Meshuggah in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? You know what Meshuggah is? Meshuggah is Yiddish for someone who's crazy. So, Anyway, joining us on our show today, before we get totally lose control, which of course really doesn't take a whole lot, Sharon Wood joins us. She is the executive director of New Day for Children since 2017. And New Day for listen. New Day is also a wrestling faction. So every time I hear New Day, I just want to go New Day. The whole thing in wrestling. If I took my camera off and showed you if I took my camera off and showed you my studio, you'd understand why I'm thinking about wrestling. But anyway, so Sharon's been with them for quite some time. For those who don't know what New Day for Children is, it is a school that advocates for children and families recovering from sex trafficking situations. Sharon, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today on this wacky Friday episode of Kiwanis Connects.
Well, good morning. We're not a school, just to be clear, though. I could explain what we do a little bit later.
Well, yes, we are not. It is not a school. It is an organization that supports those in need, as we talked about. But before we get knee deep into New Day, Doc Val, we got something going on with our good friend Daryl Gums out in Georgia. He is for those who need a refresher. Not only is he a longtime Kiwanian, but 11 a.m. Eastern time. You will find him live on Facebook reading books to children, to anybody, adults, whoever. I've tuned in and watched him read while he's in his car. Fortunately, he pulls over. He doesn't read when he drives. That's a good thing. Anyway, Doc Val, take it away.
And he doesn't read when his wife is driving either. I think that's a statement about the wife driving. And so
I didn't want to go there. I'm glad you did. This way you can get all the hate mail and not me.
I won't get any hate mail. They are almost like family. And part of it is Daryl and I were governors together, and I had the opportunity to see that Daryl gives more than 5 or 6 amazing people. He has dedicated his retirement to giving to other people. He plays Santa all year long. He gives books to kids. He orders in all these different things. And right now, Daryl needs us. And he's a very humble man, but his father has been in the hospital with multiple strokes in Las Vegas. So he's basically been in Las Vegas over a month trying to take care of everything. But unfortunately, at this point in time, it is going to take over $13,000 just to relocate Dad from Las Vegas back to Georgia so that he can be surrounded by family and friends, because his condition isn't one that will kill him, but his condition is one that if he doesn't have loved ones around him, the quality of life will be so terrible. And Aaron, you and I know, and several of us know what it's like when you don't have somebody. So I'm asking, begging, and you'll see the crawler that will go across. But they've set up a GoFundMe account, and while I'm a fan of GoFundMe, in this kind of situation, if you can Zelle or Venmo, even just $10, that would be a huge help, because it's at $13,000 to get him across the state. I don't want it to be one of those situations where once they get him there, they can't afford for his care once he's home. And so I'm going to put this challenge out there, because I look at this, and if we can in 2021 send $1.3 million through GoFundMe for a guy to get a beer at a baseball game, we can afford to send $10 to help get a gentleman to home so that he can have quality of life. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, I chuckled at the comparison of what you made to the cost of beer, but just so everybody knows, I'm trying to shrink the link that was provided to us so John could put it on the call. But I can tell you that, folks, it is a Venmo handle. It is direct to Daryl, and it is the @ Daryl, DARRYL -Gums, GUMZ. So if you have Venmo, just look up Daryl, and you'll be able to send him whatever donation that you can. I'm trying one more thing to put into the chat box, and it really, I'm getting all the gobbledygook in the link information. But meantime, I will work on that. I don't want Sharon to say, "What are these guys doing? They invite me on the show and they're not even talking to me." So,
I want to
you
help
guys,
Daryl.
yeah, you're absolutely. So I will get Daryl's information in the chat room. It is a Venmo link. If you don't have Venmo, you could still click on his link. It'll take you to Venmo.com. You can create your own Venmo account. My suggestion, if you're not hip onto Venmo, just do it. Make a donation. Make sure it goes through. And then in the next 24 to 36 hours, then if you want, delete your Venmo account. But let's do what we can to help him. And let's put a dent into that 13K. As someone whose father still lives in Vegas, who's going out there on the 27th to deal with some medical issues with his father, I can relate to the situation. So let's do what we can. All right.
All right. Well, you're doing that, Sharon. I'm so glad you're here. And many people know that the sex trafficking issue is universal. And Kiwanis is in over 84 countries and territories, and every last one of them has issues and high points of trafficking. And we've even started a club. Then you came to present to our Star Club with sex trafficking awareness and resources, and really made an impact on us because of what you're doing. And so while the title, makes us think of wrestling, I'm so excited that you're here, because I think that if people knew about what you do and could help extend that throughout our Kiwanis world, wow, what a difference we could make. And so welcome. And where do you want to start? Because we got 40 amazing minutes with you, and I don't want to miss a beat.
Okay. Do you want to start with the issue in our country, how New Day for Children got started?
Absolutely. Let's go there. Absolutely.
So it was 2009. There was a church in Oakland, California, who became very aware of the issue of child sex trafficking in their neighborhood, basically. So they worked with the police department a little bit and asked them, what is it that you need? And they said, there's nowhere for these children to go once they're recovered and removed from the trafficking situation. So they partnered with another group and opened up a restorative care home in Northern California. So that was in 2009. Fast forward to 2014, my husband Phil and I were teaching Sunday school, excuse me, and discovered that a 12-year-old girl in our class was being sold for sex in the Bay Area, and that it had started when she was 10. So for 2 years, it had been going on right underneath our nose. We had no idea. I was her midweek small group leader every Wednesday night. So I saw her every Wednesday night, and I saw her at church every Sunday, and often in between, and had no idea. So that's how Phil and I got involved with New Day for Children. We started volunteering, attending events, supporting, and then serving on the board. And then I came on as executive director almost 10 years ago. And Phil is now the COO.
Which is amazing to me. You know, one of the things that I look at with what you do is we're always trying to solve the problem or prevent the problem. And we work really hard to get people out of whatever situation they're in, get them to the point where the FBI is involved, or Three Strands, or whatever, in rescuing.
Right.
But then we don't do the next steps. And the impact of sex trafficking on families and the community once it's discovered, you opened my eyes to that and how huge that is. And can you share with us what the once they're rescued, once someone is helped, what life looks like and how you help with that?
Today we have, I'm going to back it up a little bit if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's the cost of not caring for children who have suffered this level of trauma. Very likely outcomes for people as they come into adulthood or as children is just take the cost of juvenile hall, juvenile detention. The average cost in America is $214,000 a year. In other places, it's over $700,000 a year per child. Homelessness is another very large issue in our country. I've read that the city of San Francisco spends on average $57,000 a year per homeless person. These are all very likely outcomes. What we spend on unemployment, addiction, mental health care, all of this adds up. So removing a child from their trafficking situation is important and the first step. Becoming aware and educated about child trafficking is also important. But it is happening, and at larger numbers than people want to realize or think about. And so if they don't receive the help that they need, there's often lifelong consequences. So what New Day for Children has been doing from 2009 to 2020, we had one partner safe home, and that was the only service that we provided. Since 2020, we've been able to really expand into more holistic services. So we have partner homes that we work with now in Washington State, 2 in Colorado, 2 in Texas, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Ohio. And there are new homes opening up for children around the country. That takes a long time to get them open. We also provide great therapy for the kids. I'm sorry, it's allergy season.
No worries. It's
We sympathize.
We have great therapies that the kids receive while they're in these homes, and the staff is all trained and to deal with children with severe trauma and who have been trafficked. We also provide therapy for the staff who cares for the kids. We want to keep them mentally, spiritually, emotionally healthy so that they can provide, one, it's the right thing to do. This is hard work. And two, so that they can provide great care for the kids. We also help with equine assisted therapy, and we host a horse camp every year at a beautiful 1,000-acre ranch in California. We have something called PATH. It's Parental Awareness of Trafficking, Trauma, and Healing. And so our PATH coach works with the parents as their child is getting the help that they need. We want to help the entire family heal from this trauma. And then, of course, life coaching post program. Just because you turn 18 or you graduate from a program doesn't mean you're all of a sudden fine. You know, it is a process, and healing is never a straight line. Ever. It's very messy, but the life coaching, she'll work with everything from, well, a lot of ongoing therapy, tutoring, college applications, scholarships, applications. She's helped plan a wedding, relational advice. That's a lot of finance and budgeting, how to keep your house clean. And that might seem like, what do you mean? That should be like something you just know how to do. But if you've been trafficked from age 3 to 12, and then you've spent your entire childhood either being traumatized or recovering from that, I'm sorry, there's things that you just missed. But what I do know is that it is not a helpless situation whatsoever. The kids that we serve and the families that we serve do go on to heal. It's a long process, but they do go on to heal. They are graduating high school. They're graduating college. They're considering master's degrees. We have one alum who wants to be an attorney, and she will be an attorney. She's incredibly bright. Several kids in college just this year. And trade school, one young lady just got her welder's certificate, which is wonderful. Some are married and have families of their own. One alum is in nursing school right now. So it's just, it's good work.
It's amazing work. And, you know, I get giddy, and so I sometimes skip the sentences because they're happening off really fast in my head, as I really want, you know, people to understand that it's really messy all the way through, but there are different things that Kiwanians individually and people that want to give can be a part of in a way that they are comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And so you listed, you know, 5 or 6 states where there are recovery homes where they can feel safe. And so I know in Pennsylvania, there are a couple people that are listening and watching and going, how can we help start one of these? How can we establish a safe place? Is there a way? Do you guys have a mechanism for doing that?
How about we do that as a tease? We are running a little behind on our first break. That's what we call a tease. Okay. That's a tease in the biz. Makes everybody want to come back to get the rest of the information.
All right.
So everybody listen, don't go anywhere. We got Kiwanis Connects continuing. We've got so many more things to do. More importantly, we've got more items to discuss with Sharon about the items, about what is provided, how they support those affected by this. So please don't go anywhere. Take notes, because you know what? Maybe we'll have a quiz at the end of the show. Who knows around here? We just do whatever we feel like doing. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen, we will be alternating between New Day's website so you can get more information. They do have a donate button there as well, but also too is our main campaign. There's Daryl's information, and I do believe I was notified there's already been a donation made. So stuff is happening for Daryl and his dad. Don't go to our Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back. Don't go. I swear we'll be back. Go.
Imagine being able to golf no matter the weather or time of day. Well, now you can at Back 9 Great Bridge in Chesapeake. Grab your clubs and swing by for the next level of golf. Back 9 is open 24/7. Play on your own schedule, get pro-level swing data, and much more. Try St. Andrews, then Pebble Beach to test your skills. It's also a great way to start playing golf without the distractions, pressure, or cost of playing 18 holes outside. Back 9 offers individual and corporate memberships to fit your needs. Back 9 is now open at 500 South Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Visit our website for more information. Level up your game without stepping on the course with Back 9.
Hey everybody, Aaron Phillips here from the Kiwanis Connect show. Are you trying to recruit for new members? Do you have a huge event coming up that maybe is your biggest fundraiser of the year? But you need to do something different to let people know that it's happening. The same old gives you the same old routine and results. Well, we've got an idea for you. The Kiwanis Connect show offers the opportunity to have customized commercials created to help your club get your message out. And you know what? One of the extra wonderful points of this opportunity is we provide it as a fundraising opportunity for every $50 donation for the commercial.
goes to the Rose Float Kiwanis Club. That's right. The very same Rose Float that we see on television every New Year's that represents Kiwanis International will now be supported by these Kiwanis Connects commercials. So, if you want more information to get involved, just drop us an email at KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. That's KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. Get your 30, 60, or 90-second customized commercial today, and let's help the Rose Float Kiwanis Club continue to plant its seeds for success.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Kiwanis Connect. See, I told you we'd be back. Smoke or nothing. We're like the post office who rain, sleet, snow, smoke. We are here. We are here. All right, let's get back to it. Sharon Wood, the executive director, New Day for Children. It is a resource for families that have been affected by sex trafficking. So, Val, for those just joining us, why don't you repeat the last question you asked before break, and then we can get into having Sharon provide us the answer to that very important question.
Well, and part of where I'm going with this is that we want to talk about all the different areas a little bit more in depth. And the very first one is because it is, I think, what people can wrap their heads around really quickly is the recovery centers, the homes where these survivors can go to and get all the resources. And so wanting to know more about what what kind of services they get, and also how we might be able to start a new one or partner with one in being able to do that.
Yeah, starting a home is for children is no easy feat. I'm not going to lie about that. It's difficult. The first thing I would recommend, first of all, you need to have a home itself. These are not institutionalized looking places. They're beautiful homes. The ideal is to build a home that's trauma-informed architecture. So everything, how the windows are shaped, where the furniture is laid out is trauma-informed. The other thing, this is not normal trauma levels. And so I would hire a director and staff that are incredibly well trained and informed about this level of trauma. The kids have been sexually abused sometimes for many years. Not more than sexually abused, because that's horrible, but they have been trafficked sometimes for many, many years. And so having the staff and that is highly trained on how to deal with this. And then, of course, there's all the regulations. If you're opening a home safe place for over 18, the regulations are much, much different. I don't know if they go away entirely, but it's much easier. But under 18, there's different licensures, so it can take many years to get a home open. But the idea is, if you're in Pennsylvania and they don't have a special home that is specific to helping children who are recovering from sex trafficking, then reach out to New Day for Children or the Human Trafficking Hotline or someone, because we can get that child help somewhere else. And often,
I just want to jump in because I know that a number of us don't have families that want to inherit our homes. And so would someone who has a 4-bedroom, 4-bath kind of home be able to donate and then be able to move forward? Or is this something that is a ground up process?
It's both, but no, absolutely they could donate a home. But location is also quite important. They're not usually, not never, but they're not usually in urban settings. Children with trauma have a flight risk, and especially in the beginning. So there is healing, beauty, and the country, and horses, and the opportunity to help raise. One of the programs we work with, the kids can help raise Newfoundland puppies that they sell, and they're huge dogs. Have you seen them? They're gigantic. But so there's a lot of beauty and healing and working with animals and hiking and water and just being outdoors. The other thing is, if someone has a home that they've inherited that they don't want to keep, you can donate that to a nonprofit. And the best way, you can. If somebody has a home to donate, call me. That would be amazing. So that would be great, because then we can also sell that in such a way that gives the maximum return on the investment to help more children. The deal is 99% of the kids we place have parents or legal, some sort of legal guardians. They're not wards of the state. If a child has ever been a ward of the state, that particular state will pay for their care. So if a child's been recovered from, I'll say Texas, and they're going to go to a home in Texas or another state, there's a good chance that that state will pay for that child's cost of care. But if you're a parent, insurance does not cover this, and there's no state assistance in the finances. So that's where New Day for Children comes in to help cover the cost of care for the family. Yeah.
I'm bringing up something that I, quite frankly, should have had John download for us as a point of reference. But the beauty of green screen backgrounds is I can put something up behind me. And this is what you affectionately call the wheel of services, right? Something along those lines. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So would you like to reference what this is and how this sort of fits in exactly with what we're talking about in terms of determining the services needed or what is provided for those that come to you for help?
Sure. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, I've had calls for 4 different children, and some including boys. So the first place that we start is the top of the wheel, and that's the safe housing. We need to get them away from their traffickers and away from buyers. And that's one of our partner homes. And to be clear, we don't own these homes. We don't maintain day-to-day operations. These are partners that we have carefully vetted and we work closely with, and we hold one another to a very high standard. So it's the safe housing. And that's when a family is coming to you, they're in crisis. That's crisis mode. And then once a child is safely transported and has arrived onto campus, then we can begin with the therapies that we talked about earlier. And New Day for Children, part of our partnerships, like we just paid for a staff of 19 to be trained in what's called TBRI, which is trust-based relational intervention, which is one of the best tools a caregiver can have in their tool belt and when they're working with children with this level of trauma. So we work together to provide the best care. So the kids will start to receive therapy, but everything they do is therapeutic, if that makes sense. And then we talked about the equine assisted therapy that's proven to lower blood pressure and reduce anxiety and stress levels in children. And then at our horse camps that we host, those have a different goal. We ride big horses on long, extensive trail rides, single tracks, and up and down some pretty steep ravines. And the children have to be in control of their horse. It's to overcome fear and to take back control. Some of what was taken from them. And I actually think I missed that bottom one on the wheel when we were talking earlier, the academic piece. Often the kids will come in and tell you that they're dumb. They'll say those very words. I can't learn. Their confidence is low. We do have A students that are on grade level, but the vast majority are quite behind, either because physically they were not present in school, or the trauma is such that they weren't able to engage. We have trauma-informed teachers that are at all the programs, and they're amazing. And the New Day for Children supplements that with one-on-one individualized tutoring. So that has taken the academic piece from here to just excellent levels where the kids can get a great education and go on to start. It's more than academic recovery. It's how they carry themselves and how they start to dream about a future and that they are smart and they are valuable and they have something to offer this world. It helps to heal them in their confidence and how they dream about a future. So that's amazing. And then we talked about offering the parent support. So the 4 parents that I've talked to this week, we're already connecting with our path coach. The parental awareness of trafficking, trauma, and healing, so that they can start to learn more about what trafficking, what it looks like. Sometimes they'll say, how did this happen? I woke my daughter or my son up every morning for school and they were in their bed. I mean, how did this happen? So how did the trafficking occur? What has this level of trauma done to their child's brain? And how can it heal over time? And then coaching the parents on how to speak to their child, because emotions can run high. Parents are terrified for their children and their future. So it can be, how can I put water on this fire and not gas the parent? And how can I come alongside my child and to go into this kind of healing? These children are brave. They're very brave. It's hard to face this head on. And so how can I come alongside my child and help them in this healing journey? And while this is a horrible thing to happen to any family, if a family can heal together, it can actually become quite beautiful. And then, of course, the life coaching as well to continue. We have kids that are graduating. I mean, my call yesterday was for a 13-year-old girl. We have a girl that graduated her program at 14. And so we got real creative about her applying for a private boarding school, which she was accepted into. And how can we help you on your healing journey? Continue with you if you need tutoring, therapy, whatever it is that you need. And that's kind of what
I've got to ask the obvious question at this point, and that is that I know many folks like to do things for free as volunteers, as Kiwanians will tend to do. But I'm sure providing these services costs a few dollars here and there. So what, if you can, I'm sure you've looked at it, is there a per client cost that you guys can average to put a dollar on the type of support?
I put an exact dollar amount. It's $13.89 an hour for care.
Okay. Gotcha.
So as a Kiwanian, if you can afford $13.89 a month as a monthly donation, that is an hour of care for a child. And every hour matters. And you may think that my 1 hour doesn't make any difference, but you times that by 20,000 people, it makes a huge difference. And it's not just about a single child. None of us lives in a bubble. It's about this child. It's about their family, the community that they live in, future Kiwanians, right? And then if he or she goes on to have a family of their own and they haven't had the healing services that they need, just that continues generational damage and dysfunction. So it has that $13.89 can go on for generations.
And putting that in perspective, it's priceless.
Absolutely.
The cost of not doing anything to help these children and these families. So you can't put a dollar on what's lost on that side for no reaction versus only $14 an hour to help somebody who does come forward, who does ask for help and does want to get things back in check.
I just did the math on this, and because I'm a little Starbucks fiend, and so that is one venti frappuccino and a little egg and cheese box, which I have per day, per month. And I have seen when I go into the little Starbucks across the way from the hotel I stay in often, and that is the standing order for someone. And so if you can give one day's frappuccino and egg box to something like this and know that you are changing the life and impacting the life of a child,
it's huge.
It's huge.
The other thing I would say Kiwanians can do is to invite us to speak, like we were at your club, Zoom, in person if it's somewhat close by, we can get there. We can make arrangements for that for sure. The other thing is we're finding great success with house gatherings. So we've done 3 in the last couple of months, when all over. All you do is invite your family, friends, coworkers, anybody that you think wants to learn about the issue. We haven't even covered a issue of sex trafficking, child sex trafficking yet, that what it looks like in America today. And then You have a whole Rolodex of people that you know that we don't. So invite us to gather, either via Zoom or in person, and to educate when we want to protect children. Awareness is crucial, right? If we can keep a child from being trafficked, that's huge. And then awareness by itself, though, doesn't change a child's life. There has to be some action behind it. Prayer, protection of other children, giving to New Day for Children or other organizations that are helping trafficking survivors. I do have a question for you too. I don't know why I just thought of this. Okay, across all the homes that we work with and all the program managers with school, what do you think is the number one, the best subject for these kids? And every single program says this has the same answer.
Math.
You're right.
Really?
And specifically, I know he's like, yay, specifically statistics, because the kids are constantly calculating, how can I stay alive? How can I eat? How can I be done with this? Whatever that next thing is, how can I get to safety? So yeah, and the kids are smart. Oh my goodness, these are smart kids and have so much to offer this world. So it's wonderful. But so
I'm sorry, I was going to say, and as they're getting their feet back under them, self-esteem will begin skyrocketing. They start feeling better about themselves, and all the things that you talked about, they'll start righting the ship for themselves. All right, we're going to step aside for a last break of the show. We got so much more to do with Sharon. We also have Mental Health Moment with Melissa Atwell, Doc Val's Wow Moments, and I even told you what today's bad dad joke themes are. I decided yesterday, let's talk about barbecues. Bad dad joke theme. And of course, Sharon is prepared with her homework, so I can't wait to hear what she's got in store for us. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. More to come right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
Hi, I'm Hall of Fame broadcaster and local TV host Aaron Phillips. Are you interested in hosting a podcast? I offer a podcast seminar where I share the information you need to set up your podcast for success. Some of the topics that I cover include basic terminology, how to do a successful interview, who to target as a potential advertiser, and more. For more information, visit thevoiceof757.com or email me directly at aaron@thevoiceof757.com. Let my voice speak to you. Imagine being able to golf no matter the weather or time of day. Well, now you can at Back 9 Great Bridge in Chesapeake. Grab your clubs and swing by for the next level of golf. Back 9 is open 24/7, play on your own schedule, get pro-level swing data, and much more. Try St. Andrews, then Pebble Beach to test your skills. It's also a great way to start playing golf without the distractions, pressure, or cost of playing 18 holes outside. Back 9 offers individual and corporate memberships to fit your needs. Back 9 is now open at 500 South Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Visit our website for more information. Level up your game without stepping on the course with Back 9.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. See, I told you again we'd be back. I promise I deliver. We are still here, coast to coast. I'm in Virginia Beach. Doc Val and Sharon are out on the West Coast in California, and we're just having some great conversation about a great service that New Day for Children provides for those families and children who have been affected by sex trafficking. And unfortunately, sex trafficking is becoming more and more prominent in our society nowadays. So unfortunately, more and more need for services like what New Day provides is becoming pretty obvious around certain neighborhoods, which is unfortunate. But fortunate that people like Sharon and her husband, Phil, which, by the way, is a great first name, are are willing to do what they can to help those in need within the community. So, all right. By the way, for those of you who are tracking things, newdayforchildren.com is the website for more information, as well as that blue donate button on there. You can jump on there and make a donation to help that $13.80 per hour. Imagine what $130 does. That gives almost a half a day of coverage for one young person in the family. And if you still want to support Daryl Gums in his situation, on Venmo, just look at the ampersand Daryl, DARRYL dash GUMZ. You can make a direct donation to Daryl and help him get his dad across country from Vegas to Georgia. All right, Doc Val, take it away.
You know, as we're looking, you did that whole holistic circle of services that are there. And if there was something that we could jump right into and being able to support, what's the easiest? Because sometimes, you know, there's low-hanging fruit, but people just don't realize if I did this, because sometimes people don't want to send money. They're tired of sending money, but they would love to sponsor something. So one, you said being able to bring you in as a presentation. And so we're scrolling how to reach you, right? Mm-hmm. And, yes. then if we were looking at that holistic wheel, where could we jump in today?
Because they're minors, things just get a bit trickier. All the locations of their homes are kept confidential. They are undisclosed just because traffickers are not kind or good people. And for the safety of the children and the staff that works there, they're kept confidential. There aren't a lot of opportunities for hands-on with the children, but if you have a special skill set, we've brought speakers in and different things to present to the kids, but that all goes through us, and then we would connect you with a program director to be able to get clearance to come onto campus and that sort of thing. So that gets a bit trickier. We've had high schools. We had a high school in the Bay Area host a dance review for us and raise like $6,000. We've had people do a pancake breakfast and just like open the doors and raise a little bit of money, garage sales. There's things like that. And again, introducing us to people is huge. We've had people make blankets for the kids and gotten those delivered. That you have to mail them yourself. So, so that those are the biggest ways. And again, if you're a person of prayer, please be in prayer for the care of the children, and that their minds would be healed and their emotions and their hearts, and that this doesn't define who they are as human beings.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So Erin, I know that we could go on forever, and but I want to make sure that we're meeting the timelines, because Erin makes sure that we don't let Val talk forever.
Listen, you guys get all the fun conversation. I get to be the bad guy. I've got to make sure that we stay on track. So we're actually good. But you know what I'd like to do? I think let's kind of regroup. Let's regroup for a second. I think I'd like to pivot to Melissa Atwell. I think this will be a good spot as we're talking about all this stuff and the families in need that are supported by New Day. There's nothing better than a little message on how to handle mental stress and stay that mental wellness. So let's do it. Melissa Atwell's mental health moment. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Melissa Atwell, the founder and CEO of the Mental Health Moment. And my mental health moment that I want to share with you today is a moment of kindness, or a word of kindness, can go a long way. And I want to give you an example of that. If you have a moment where you see something and you want to compliment someone on what they're wearing, what they're doing, do it. Because you never know what that one moment of kindness will do for someone else. And that is a ripple effect. So remember, take a moment for your mental health.
All right, thank you.
Perfect timing on.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. I wish I heard it, but for some reason it was buffering on my end. So I had no idea what she said, but she certainly looked good in this position. So, I'll have to go back.
Well, let me share with you because it just fits right in with
was
one of the
so good.
segments we're going to do. It was brilliant. But she talked about a moment of kindness, and one of the things that I belong to a club that was transitioned basically because of our show. That is the Kiwanis Kindness Club, and we're going to do a kindness hour every quarter where we talk about those kind of things that we can do that are not just lip service to kindness, because in the climate that we're living in right now, those little acts and big acts, like things that Little Iguana does and Muzi and Zooks and all those different organizations that they do, really make a difference. And each one of us can do this, and kindness doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so
Totally. No, I'm just totally agreeing with you. Kindness is the simplest thing we can do, whether it's just a smile, a nod, a hello, how are you? You just don't know how important that is to somebody in their day.
mm-hmm. And so, one of the things, Sharon, that you talked about was, we're dealing with a lot of kids, but you also have that part of the program that deals with parents. And I was wondering, is there something that we might be able to do that is more supportive of parents and families, so that, because there's a stigma of, now that you've gone through all of this, that you're a bad parent, that or the family was just neglectful, when in fact
Not true.
it wasn't.
I'll say this. Child trafficking is one of those things that knows no discrimination. It's every race, every socioeconomic level. When we were down doing a couple of house gatherings in SoCal in a very, very affluent neighborhood, they had told me just a couple months before, they did a huge bust in this beautiful, not a mansion, but this huge, gorgeous home. They were running a child trafficking ring out of it. And so it's all across the board. We do see also some generational trauma that goes, like the parents will have had childhood trauma that wasn't dealt with. And so maybe there were some things they could have done better, which is every parent on the planet, with their children. So I would say the first thing is don't judge. We often still think of child trafficking as the van that screeches around the corner, the door opens and grab the kid off the lawn, right? That's less than 10%. Kidnapping is less than 10% of trafficking cases. Another misnomer is that it's an over there problem, or it's people coming across and shipping cargo containers. And that does happen. And no one should be trafficked. I don't care where you are from. It is so evil. But the stat is that 83% of all people being trafficked in America today are American born or here legally, and 1 in 4 is a child. So to think that it can't happen to your child is not good to do. There are certain vulnerabilities in children that will make them more susceptible to being trafficked. If you're from a family that maybe you're wonderful parents, but you're impoverished and you're working multiple jobs and the children are unattended just because of your circumstances. It could a single parent family where, again, there's just not as much support. If you're in a family that's struggling with addiction or other issues, that child is going to have, maybe there's been a death, whatever that vulnerability is in a child, a trafficker will spot it. But the truth is that technology has invited traffickers into all of our living rooms in some form. So if I had something for all the parents and grandparents out there, the Bureau of Statistics, I believe it's the Bureau of Statistics, estimates over 500,000 traffickers are online every day in America on popular gaming sites and social sites for children, posing to be other children or safe adults. So unless you know every single person that is on your child's gaming site or social site, there's a very good chance that there's someone with ill intentions on there. And what traffickers are very manipulative. Let's say I'm a trafficker, and Val, I spot, or I'll pick on you, Aaron. I spot some sort of vulnerability in you, whatever it is. Let's say you had a death in the family, or you're just, maybe it's a kid that feels not attractive or unpopular at school and you're just needy. So I'm going to befriend you, and I'm very patient because I can make a couple $100,000 a year off of you. And
Mhm.
so I'm going to befriend you. I'm going to meet that need, and then I'm going to isolate you. I slowly, it's like, I don't know, the frog in the pot of water. You put it in boiling water, it jumps out. But this, if you warm the water slowly over time, it just stays in there and boils. I slowly withdraw you from your safe circle until
Mhm.
I've isolated you. And then traffickers will use whatever they can to manipulate. And you have to remember, these are children, 12,
Mhm.
13, 14, 15 years old. And so they will back you into a corner for just this one time, just this one favor. And then they flip the story. They flip it. It's just like, you can't go home now. You're dirty. We've had multiple children tell us that they threaten their siblings or their family. You're a 13, 14-year-old kid and someone who has done something horrible to you, and they've threatened to hurt your family or murder your family. You take that very seriously.
Sure.
Or there's that, they meet your needs. One of our alum, I remember years ago telling me that she was one that they had removed her away from her family at 14. And she said, you hate them and you love them at the same time. She was, because they make it so they're the only person in your life. They meet every need that you have. They feed you, they clothe you, they put you in a hotel or apartment, whatever it is. So you have nothing apart from them.
It's interesting in that whole scenario, and you can play all that stuff in your head, but it's interesting the scenario that you picked, death in the family as a sample, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have a sixth sense or not, but 1 year ago today we buried my mother-in-law.
Oh.
So it is quite freakishly frightening that you use that as an example.
Yeah.
Because my wife is having a little bit of a tough day today. But
Yeah.
anyway, I
Well,
just want. What's that?
I was just say, just one of the calls I was on, maybe day before yesterday. We always ask about early trauma or things that would have led to a vulnerability. And this little girl, her grandma died,
Right.
and they were really, really close. And then she was just kind of left feeling
Empty.
unhinged, or just needing something. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. You're good. All right. We're down to about 6 minutes, so that means we have only a few minutes left. Let's switch to
but Aaron, before we completely switch, I wanted to almost close the loop on part of that.
Okay.
Because in teaching death and dying at several universities, one of the things that I have noticed, and you just brought up you just put a spotlight on a corner that I think people can very easily be aware of. Oftentimes when grandparents die or a parent dies, the kids become almost invisible in the process. And so it's making sure that you can, as an adult in that situation, you may not be the one directly affected by that death, but making sure that those kids are being paid attention to at that time. Because they are at that point posting their feelings. They are at that point, there is information being shared about where services are and when services are. And oftentimes the kids kind of disappear, but no one pays attention to them because it's technically not about them. And so just letting people know immediately, you can make a difference just by making arrangements to take care of the kids in this process. So Aaron, thanks for letting me jump in. But this is one of those things where it's like, when our children are the most vulnerable is usually when they're the most invisible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, with that, let's switch gears real quickly. It is time for Doc Val's Wow Moments. Here we go.
I'm going to send you my like Wonder Woman graphic so you can do that, because this is like, that's
I like
absolutely
that.
fun. It's like cool. I have a big wow, and it's completely separate from everything that we've been doing. And I do a shout out to my friend Patty Ryder and Mike Mulhall and Joe Schwartz, who have been working really, really hard on our Kiwanis Voices. And I am so excited about Voices. I wasn't excited as excited as before I spent time with past Governor Dillon from CNH, and they all explained to me in a way that it makes sense. Kiwanis Voices is a way to bring in new Kiwanians into our Kiwanis family that aren't coming in, because how many people really want to join the average group of 63-year-olds to do service when you are 18 to 26?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very few. But if you have a group of 18 to 26-year-olds that you can hang out with and do things with, you're more likely to want to join that group. And so that's what Voices is all about. It's another way to join Kiwanis. It's our Golden Ks are for 55 and older, and they're usually in retirement centers, and they don't want 18-year-olds being a part of that club. We've got our new professionals, our young professionals, which is turning out to be middle-aged professionals because they joined when they were 20, and now they're in their 50s and 60s. That's still not the age bracket. So having this Kiwanis Voices as another avenue to start a club that really resonates together and can serve together is exciting. So if you haven't considered sponsoring a Kiwanis Voices club in your area, contact somebody right away. Patty Ryder, Joe Schwartz from Kansas, Michael Mulhall, one of your membership leaders, because this isn't a Circle K Light. This isn't a Key Club alumni program. It is another way to bring Kiwanis into your community. So that's my wow.
There
because
you go.
the light bulb went on for me.
That's awesome.
All right. And then you can also join this show and be part of this Voices right here. This voice, the Voices.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's
It's time to switch gear with a couple of minutes left for some bad dad jokes. But as always, let's get started off with our guest. Sharon Wood has come with her homework prepared, and she's going to set the bar really high for me, I'm sure. So Sharon, hit us with a joke.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
What do you call a line of rabbits hopping backwards?
Receding hairline.
Yes. You've heard that one before.
Gotta always be the head jokes around there, don't it?
Sorry.
John, let's hit it, John.
Wait, I have one today.
I know, but we could have still done the intro, and then I could have turned.
I can do the intro. Stand
by. Go ahead. Go do it.
Okay. Baby snake says to his father, "Dad, are we venomous?" And the father says, "Yes, son, we are." And the baby snake says, "Really venomous, Dad?" And the dad says, "Yes, son, we are." And the baby snake goes, "Oh my God, I just bit my tongue."
Oh, I don't even know if I want to do any bad dad jokes now. I'm still like,
good luck with that.
Yeah,
the first one to get the answer on that joke.
That's right. Hey, while we're doing the bad dad jokes, across the bottom of the screen for Venmo is Daryl's information. Again, for any donations that you would like to add for Daryl, it is the ampersand at Daryl, DARRYL -Gums, GUMZ. All right, here you go. Here's the first one. Remember, these are barbecue themed bad dad jokes. Why did the grill master cross the road? Why did the grill master cross the road? He asked. Nagel, it's good that you're in there. I see you, buddy. He crossed the road because he needed to flip the chicken on the other side. That's why the chicken. Okay, I didn't say. I did not say these were good. I just read them. Why was the grill master? I know. Listen. I can only read them. Why was the grill master so good at poker? Why was the grill master so good at poker? He knew exactly how to handle the high stakes. All right. I think I redeemed myself just a smidge there on that one. How do you make a grill master laugh? Thank you. Oh, Nagel, wait a minute. Nagel actually approved a joke? No way. The smoke must really be thick up in New Jersey. All right. How do you make a grill master laugh? You tell him a joke that is well done. Why was the barbecue sauce so successful? It was always seasoned for greatness. Last two, and then I'm done, thankfully. Why was the spatula so tired after the party? Why was
tired of flipping?
Yes, he was spending the whole day doing backflips. All right, close enough. No, Sharon, you get it, man. Good job. Last one. Here you go. What do you call a hot dog that is a great teacher? What do you call a hot dog that is a great teacher? Well, of course, you're going to call him a person who is very frank with his students.
Oh.
That's a wiener. That's a wiener right there, folks. We're going to end it right there, thankfully. That does it for barbecue-themed bad dad jokes. We are running a tad over, but see, I could tell that one had a slow burn because Val is just starting to laugh. Perhaps the joke got caught up in the smoke filter going across West Coast, but that'll be one she'll be laughing her ass off later on at dinner. She and Andy and Mama Flo will be chatting. They're like, oh, I got it. I got that one. I know how Val operates. All right. We only have, we're beyond the time. We're on the credit side. So Sharon, though, I'd love to give you like about 30 to 60 seconds to give us a final thought on New Day for Children and what we can do to help.
Final thought is if the topic feels overwhelming and too heavy, know that it is not helpless. There is so much hope, and that each person doing their small part can come together. I mean, you're Kiwanians, right? You know this. Each person doing their small part can make a lifelong and generational impact. And this is not a hopeless topic at all. Yeah.
Very good. Doc Val, final thoughts.
I'm always feeling that this show makes a huge difference around the world. And it's having guests like you, Sharon, that truly amplify the impact that Kiwanians can make. And so I hope every viewer that's out there, if you're not a Kiwanian yet, you should be, because you can affect the lives of children.
Yeah.
We know we're doing something right. Last week's show with our buddy Jim, with only a couple of days of promoting it, we were up to almost 30,000 views already. The week before that, when we had Seth Hewitt on, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that show is approaching 150,000 views. And the week before that, when Val and company were in Manila, we were live from Manila. That one's closing in on 140,000 views. Folks, we must be doing something right. We're bringing some good stuff for you to learn about. All right, a couple of quick programming notes tomorrow. Now, Aaron's Hour from 11 a.m. to noon. Dave Cason, he is the founder and owner of Fitness Machine Technicians here in the Hampton Roads area. If you've got that broken down piece of equipment that needs to be fixed and you don't want it to be a clothesline anymore in your master bedroom, Dave can come fix it for you. Or if you work out in a gym that always has a piece of equipment that's broken, please give him Dave's name because he can go fix that too. And then 30 minutes after that, if you hadn't had enough of me on the local cable Cox Cat Channel 4, Sky 4, the voice of 757, the TV show all about Hampton Roads, my guest, Arrington Gavin. We're going to be talking about his beard supply company and what he does on the air and his nonprofits, a little bit of what we did on the podcast 2 weeks ago, but this side on the TV. And then with that, of course, 1 o'clock local, come by the Moon Group Foundation. They are an accounting firm, yours truly. Somehow, this is what happens when you don't show up to the poker game, ladies and gentlemen. I will be dressed as Uncle Sam during this event tomorrow and be running around offering to take pictures with people as they look at tax season or who knows what. But hey, I'm being paid for it, so I have no scruples anymore. That's the bottom line. All right, everybody, be kind to everybody. Sharon, thank you for coming on. Keep up the good work. Keep us posted. Doc Val, love you. You know that. Please continue getting better. And to everybody out there affected by some illness or the smoke, please be careful. We need you back here next week when we reconvene. Be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. To see you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects. This show is adjourned.